in Alaska, we need to cut down trees like this, with saws like this, for heat to survive the winters. I cut down this tree with this. Stop looking at the roots. Look at my eyes when I'm talking to you. This is going to be a lot of stuff to look through. This video is going to last until 2027. But today, we're just going to do, we'll call this the workshop, and we'll call that the boathouse without a boat. Today, we're just going to do the workshop. I don't even know if I can get through everything in one day, but I think I can. There's a few boxes. This was not included. Remember, I got this for $5 at the yard sale. I decided I'm going to keep that in here for this winter. Don't need it anymore. These are my gloves. And whatever I find here that I want, you know, tools, I'll put in the bucket, bring it inside so I don't have to do this again next summer when I have the yard sale. And I have a feeling I'm going to be bringing back a lot to the house. Not necessarily of tools, but of a bunch of stuff. So let's get started. I also don't know right now if the top of my head is cut off. If it is, sorry, but I'm trying to get everything. You know, you'd rather see what's here instead of my face. So we're going to start with this wall. And when I see stuff like this, I'm just going to leave it for now. Next summer, you know, I'll throw away the trash. I'm not going to throw away a bunch of stuff. These I'm going to leave. Toilet paper I'm going to leave. That looks like something you stick into somebody when they break into your house. Get out of here. Oh, here it is. Speed Bore 2000. Oh, must be some machine. And some drill machine, I'm guessing. He's got this stuff. I know I should keep it. I'm never going to use this. If I need to drill something, I'm going to use a normal drill. Some of this stuff also, like the drill that I will keep, I'm not going to keep all 5 of these drills. 6. All 6 of these drills. What do I need 6 electric drills for? I'll keep 1 or 2. The rest I'll put in the yard sale. Stuff like that I'm not going to bring in the house. I don't need that now. I probably will never need it, but I would still keep 1 or 2. Most of it I'm guessing is going to work. A few things aren't going to work. Well, you know, not my problem. So we're going to take a look at all this. Now, what I am going to do, completely unimportant stuff, I'm taking Scott towels. Tissues are going to wind up going in the garbage. Actually, here's a garbage can. There's garbage cans all over this place, which is what I really like. And I can throw away some of that stuff. Keep in the garbage can. Toilet paper. Goodbye. Scott towels that are open. That's disgusting. Disgusting. Okay. So far so good. We got wet wipes. He's got a lot of wet wipes. I have a feeling during COVID, he wound up buying a bunch of these antibacterial wet wipes. And these are empty. Anyhow, here is, hopefully you can see in the video, who in their right mind needs that many working gloves? I'm keeping them all, but no, I'm not. See, this is stuff that I will go through and not in the video and decide. Oh, the Broncos trash can. I'm a Broncos fan. These are something I'll go through, not in the video, and take a look at which ones are really good that I want to keep, maybe haven't been used that much. See, I made some space for myself. Another glove that was hiding. This is hand cleaner. A lot of hand cleaner stuff. I don't know if anybody would buy that or take it at the yard sale. That would be fine. Here, I guess we have one of these. I don't know, is this one of those things you massage your feet with? Homedics. I have a feeling this is a foot massage because that's the shape of a foot. That'll go in the yard sale. Don't need that. A lot of those electronical things, like, I don't know if they're for the satellite, all of that stuff I'm going to wind up taking out, throwing in the back, and waiting until the summertime when they allow you to bring electronics to dump them. That's what that's going to be good for. I'm not going to take that out now in the video. I think in this video I'm not going to be removing everything like I did in the sheds because it'll just take way too long. Another trash can. I like trash cans. There's just a paper bag in there. Submersible sump pump. I'd use that for my aquarium. So here we have the electrical drills. Again, that's something I'm going to take later. Raid bug killer. I have tissues. Squashy, squashy. Bug is dead. I'm not going to need that. These are all rusted types of screws. I'm just going to leave that for now. A plug cleaner. That's pretty cool. A measuring thing. He's got a model airplane of the USAF. I'll see if that sells on eBay. Oh, this is neat. Is this a giant measuring stick? Yeah, that is neat. I don't need a measuring stick that's the size of my truck. That'll go in the yard sale. I, by the way, have several of these measuring sticks. This is what I like. Small, easy, yard sale. All the electric drills. And we can move on to, I don't know if you can see this up here. He has a bunch of nails and bolts. Not going to need those. Some tape. Oh, a lock. I need one of these for mine. Another deadbolt. But if there's no key, it doesn't do me any good. And I found a few of these in the house with no key. And they had codes, you know, where you can put in the code. I don't know the codes. Security, that's not the same company, so I'm not sure what anybody can do with that. Not sure what that is. Flashlights. I've got really good flashlights inside. He's got a ton of flashlights here. Yeah, they even work. Freeze! I may keep one or two of these flashlights because, no, I don't need them. I have like 5 flashlights inside that are my own. And I like these really small ones. Don't know how to turn this one on. And I have like 5 of these really small ones in the house. So I don't need any flashlights. That's a pretty neat, I don't even know what these things are called anymore. Not extension cord, but, you know, I've got a bunch of these in the house. Biggest screwdriver I've ever seen. scissors, glue, little things to put the oil in the chain, I guess. Wait. Get this stuff out of the way. A lot of measuring sticks. Not sure if you can see this. I've got mine that I really like, that I just showed you, and I will take one more that I like. And then the rest. It's a big one. I don't like any of these. What's this? Oh no. Little saws. I guess there's a machine somewhere in here. It's going to use that. You know, I don't know which measuring stick to take. Scissors I don't need. I got plenty of those inside. Tape. I'm not taking that. It's going in the garbage. It's empty. Tape like this I take for the eBay dead spider. For the eBay packaging, just in case I need it. These I'm not going to be putting any cement walls up. Don't need that. Band-aids, light bulbs, nail clipper, toothpicks. I got to come back and decide which of these measuring sticks I'm going to take. I'm going to take one more. Also, there's a light. I didn't even think about that before. All of this, that's a set. I'm leaving that. I will get money for that. Johnny want to get paid. Leaving all of those. And the reason I'll leave those wrenches is because I have wrenches as well. Tape. I don't actually need this black tape in the tape I took for eBay. That's more like masking tape. You got tape up here. This is the kind of tape I need. So I'm going to replace. Actually, I don't even need that tape. What I use for eBay is Scotch tape and the wide Scotch tape. Those are the things I use for eBay. Danger. I guess if I get a pit bull, I can wrap him up in that. This kind of tape, yeah, not really for eBay. I got my tapes. Screwdrivers and all of that. What I prefer doing is keeping one of the tool sets that has a bunch of the screwdrivers instead of just saying, oh, this one's a nice size, this one's a nice size, I need that one. Tool sets is what I prefer. Pens and pencils, matches, dice. The thing to start the stove. I bet you this doesn't work. Nope, that one doesn't work. Figured it's all rusty. This is a bag of a bunch of nothings. These are good. See, this kind of toolbox, but this isn't one like a toolbox. This is just a box with a bunch of things in it that he can use, or that you could use when you're messing around in the workshop. I don't need that. This thing is filled up with nothing but bolts and you know, some of these things like these latches. Not really interested in that stuff. There's a bunch of rusty nails. Don't like rusty nails. And we've got our different size broom heads. We've got this brush. It's a tough brush. Another bag of screws and bolts. Now, what I do need are nails like this that are not rusted. I'm keeping those. When we go into the boathouse, there are a bunch of these cans that are filled with rusted nails. I want to get rid of those nails, give them away at the yard sale. Maybe people use them. People will use them. I used them yesterday for the no trespassing sign. Any nails I find that are not rusted, I'm keeping for myself. I hope that I'm close enough with this video that you can actually see this stuff, because it's difficult when I look on the phone. The screen's, so small. I think the video on, once I make the video, it's a wider screen. That looks like a machete. I'm keeping the machete. I'll walk around, make a path, go into the jungle. I'm not messing with it though now. A lot of, I guess, screwdrivers we already did. Here's some more. These don't look rusty. Another bucket of screws I will keep because they're not rusty. I'll look through them. Pipe. Oh, this reminds me, what I'm hoping to find in here is like a stake, because I bought a particular flag today and I want to put it up, and I just love it. It is great. A lot of these little sets that I'm never going to figure out how to open unless it says open, push right. And still not going to figure it up. There you go. I don't know if you saw that. It was nothing, a bunch of screws. I've really got my eyes on that machete. Oh, cassette tapes. Looking through that. eBay. I don't have a cassette player, but I got my cassette tapes. This is almost like Christmas, but getting a bunch of presents you don't want and you don't have any interest in. Because I'm not a workshop type of guy, but it's still pretty fun to see, what's in here. Hose clamp assortment. Brand new. Horse clamps. This is a good one. Not keeping it. Winsilin 300 pieces. Screws. I need screws. I don't need all those screws I'm taking. I'll put some back. But what is this? A wobble wedge. Never used. A new wobble wedge. I don't know what a wobble wedge is. Meet the everyday fix for everyday life. Sounds like something you can use every day. I'm not taking that out. Yard sale. Unless I get some Weeble Wobbles. No, we got to check this out. Come on. This is like, this is the Christmas present your parents never got you that you really wanted when you were 13. I have a feeling this is just a big knife and not necessarily a machete. Holy cow, that's a chainsaw in action. You know, I'm gonna go try to cut a tree in that later. Not a tree, like a log. I want to see if that's something this crazy fool wants. And then you've got, you know, the same as always. It's a shame these sets, they're just so rusted. So now we're down here. That's a bucket of that stuff. Fire extinguisher. More tapes. Man, I need a tape recorder and I'm going to be listening to music until 1999. I guess that's not valid anymore. Until 2099. That's interesting. Ziploc bags, that. Actually are not dusty on the inside. Man, that's a lot. This guy had tapes. This guy had tapes running up the gazoo. Is this another? Oh, this is filled with cassettes. More. It just ain't stopping. Holy cow. I'm getting more excited finding the cassettes in the workshop than any tool. That is not possible to open. So still on the ground, we've got toilet paper that has mold in it. That's going in the garbage. 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 Well, that's a lot of tissues. And I better start getting some colds. I'll check them out if they're okay later. And then here we have another garbage can. Oh, look through this. He's got brand new DVDs. Keeping the DVDs. Backcountry Discovery Route. Looks like motorcycle driving. Bolts and screws. A million wrenches. These are the sets of screwdrivers, but these aren't screwdrivers. But these are the kind of tool sets that I would keep. All of this. Okay, look. Size half. Or 1/2, however you would pronounce this. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those wrenches. He's got 4 7/16, 4 3/8. I don't need all that. Oh man, look at this. I'm not even going to mess with that. That's a grenade. I'm assuming it's a toy. I'm not messing with it. So then we got this thing. So then we got this. Delta. Does that mean it's a Delta E50? I don't know. Screws, a bunch of little more screws. See, these are long. Oh, these are extremely long screws. Construction screws. Bunch of brand new sets. Stuff like that I could also be keeping. For now though, I'm going to leave it because there's just a ton of screws. Nothing down there on the floor. Then to end the wall, we have this Delta machine. Fire hydrant, eye protectors. Oh, it's a bench drill press. Is there? More work gloves. I'll put them in that box. And remember, when I'm going through this workshop right now, probably some of the stuff I'm saying I'm not going to keep, I'm going to wind up keeping. Now, I think it's just a good idea to go through it slowly and to get, you know, an idea, a better idea of what's actually in here. And I'll remember next spring what things to take out that I want to. There's a bunch of stuff up there. Something like this I'm probably going to keep because, you know, trim the branches. And then here there's some more stuff that I have no idea what this stuff is. I guess if you want to hang someone, a lot of wiring. So we're going to work on the floor first because I don't know, a bunch of chains, a little bit of rope, and what I'm guessing those look like dog chains. A bunch of straps. Down here we have this where you, I don't know if this is something you lay on when you're under the car. I don't think so. I would think this is something you step on, but, and I would need one of these, but this one's a bit heavy. And this is something that, you know, rope. Am I ever going to need rope? Probably not, but that's something I may consider keeping just because maybe I find some things to hang rope around. You never know. That's something I'd have to think about. So there's more rope on the top shelf, which basically means I would keep this, get rid of that, and sell that one also in the summer. Then we have all of these tools. See them even on the back wall. There's the, you know, I don't know what those are called, saws. The sharp points back on the wall. More hand drills. Lots of other drills. Again, I don't need 500 hand drills. And then down here, a bunch of tools. Every once in a while I'll pick one up and still have no idea what it is. This is something I would keep if it's working. Then we have some, looks to me like it's some kind of wire that it's cut. We've got hose repair kit. We've got light bulbs that I'm definitely keeping. I'm assuming this is the size that he has there, but these I could use inside. And these are 100-hour plus candles. That's pretty cool. Six of them. I've got my own candles, never going to use that. Container. I could actually use for cat food. I'm keeping this. Then I've got more brushes. This is for the car. I have mine, and mine are really good. Don't need that. I'll open those at the end. What are these? To me, it looks like a steering wheel for a video game. Beep beep. It is a, a Rockford product. It's one of those, I don't know, to smooth out the wood. I guess that's what it looks like. He's got two of those. He's got that thing. He's got a miniature garbage can. That's pretty cool. I'm actually keeping this one for outside right near the front door because I go out there and sometimes have trash. Throw it in. Keeping that. I'm keeping like the most worthless, inexpensive stuff. That's what I'm interested in. And I'm going to assume something expensive is in these things because he covered them. I'm probably completely wrong, but oh, magazines. Okay, if these are Playboy magazines, I don't want to say anyone had a sex addiction, but they're Playboy magazines. A lot more centerfolds going up on eBay. I thought they were actually machines that had a lot of value. By the way, the Playboy centerfolds sell on eBay. I don't know if I said this in the last video when I found the 5 of them in the first shed. The magazines themselves, the 5 of them that I had, sold for about $4 each on eBay. But the centerfold alone sold for about $4 each on eBay. So I took the centerfolds out and I threw the magazines away because it's cheaper to send a centerfold than a magazine, especially if you're selling 10 magazines together from Alaska to the lower states. This is probably 50 more centerfolds if they've all got them. I have a feeling they have them when he packaged them up good like this. Perfect spot for my weed whacker. Then I have all these cords. I'll keep a couple of them even though I've never used a cord like that in my entire life. Then we're back down on the ground. This kind of tape I use for eBay. Keeping that. Let's see what notes he made. Hide Playboys from the wife. Now actually it says garage sale. He was probably planning on having a garage sale and selling all this stuff before he left. And he just said, what's the point? These are a bunch of empty containers that is really good for me. For the nails and the screws and the tools, the screwdrivers and stuff. For me later, this is mine. I'm keeping this. So, saws, I'll keep one of those, maybe 2 of those, unless that one's working. That whole wall. And extension cords, wires, multi-use transfer pump. Here are the hammers. I'll keep a couple of these. I'm actually going to bring one of them in. I like this one. The ones I have inside have smaller heads, so I'll keep this one. Bigger head. That was the multi-use transfer pump I said before. And I already brought these in. These were in the garage. When I went in there, I brought some stuff to store in there for the yard sale. I saw these and I took these out. This stuff I'm keeping, the 2 shovels and the rake. And now we're going to get to the floor. So, the biggest mittens I've ever seen. Some screws. A book. Photo album. That'll be the garbage. Do that later. Then we've got this bucket. Another one of these stakes. The tool belt, that's pretty cool. You're not going to see me walking around with that thing. And then we've got these boxes. They just have dates, 2016, 17, 19, 20, 21. What happened to 2018, buddy? And a container. I'm guessing maybe there's pictures in here, or maybe they're empty boxes. They're empty boxes. Empty boxes. And I'm happy about that. I didn't want to have to go through his photo albums. See, I feel bad. I don't like throwing away other people's pictures, and it's very possible he forgot this stuff. It's all from his high school and, you know, his life of pictures in here. And I'm probably going to send him a text message and ask him if he wants me to mail these to him. Because I'm not much of a picture person. I always save pictures, but when I moved from Austria to Alaska, I had like this many also, and there was no way I was going to carry this in the airplanes. It's very possible he just decided to leave it because he didn't want to put this in his in the airplane in his bags. But I'll still write him because you never know. I don't like taking like stuff like that from someone and just throwing it away and saying tough luck. Although he probably would have written me by now and said, can you please send that to me? He might have completely forgot he has that. So I'll let him know. If he doesn't want it, I'll throw it away. If he does, I'll mail it to him. And this is the final part of the third wall. Again, jumper cables, extension cords, cables, a thermometer. It's pretty neat. I'll keep it up there. I don't know if you can see it in the corner. And cables, wiring, pipe stuff, glue, and this whole thing is filled up with screws and sandpaper and a bunch of little tools. Down there also. And then we have wall number 4. There was the thermometer I was talking about before. That box we're going to go through. We got more locks with the no keys, but No keys for this one. For this one is just a code you put in. I can use those. Here's another lock with no key. Another lock with no key. Oh, there's a key there. Large, nope, that's the key for the garage door. For the door in the boathouse. Man, that's a shame. I like those locks. I'd like keys for them. This lock has keys. I definitely have my fair share of locks, and I could use them for the sheds. Lucky I didn't buy any. Another one with keys in it. Because I noticed some of the sheds back there didn't have locks on them. I don't know what this is. It's like a key, but without the actual metal part of the key that you put into the lock. It's just a point, like a stick. So I'm going to leave this here in case that's something, that I find later. And then we've got, oh, these are nice work gloves. Work gloves. Work gloves. Work gloves. Work gloves. More work gloves to look through. And last but not least, we can see what he was selling in the past. This doesn't say $1,950. A 1989, 67,000 miles, 460 engine, rear bed and bath. 8,900. Must have been a camper. And he rented something. He might have rented this place like 20 years ago during the winter. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know nothing. I'm innocent. Garbage bags. I need them. Garbage bags are expensive. 28 of them for $10. That's like $5 worth of garbage bags. $5.25 worth of garbage bags. I have a billion of these small ones. Plastic bags, more for sale signs. This he's selling for $5,000. Doesn't say what it was. And the for sale signs going in the garbage because they have his phone number on them. And I usually don't have anything to sell. If there was something that said yard sale, I'd go woohoo. More garbage bags. That one has something in it. Black bags I'm keeping because they're the big ones that I eat. A lot of towels, I'm sure filled with mold. That stuff's going to be going in the garbage. And yep, towels with mold. I don't know if there's actually mold on there, but they smell moldy. Finished with this workshop now. I'm sorry, that's the best I could do for you. No way I could go through every single item one by one because that would last forever. Now I'm going to get the stuff that I want to check through into the house, and I'll get the stuff, look through the 50 pairs of work gloves, the tapes, the machete, Playboy. I've got my whole weekend filled up for me. So let's try to use this manual chainsaw. That's what I'm going to call it. Hopefully the wind doesn't blow over the phone. I hear the wind coming. This is a good size. This just fell out in the woods yesterday because of the windstorms. Okay, see, I'm not doing that, and that's not thick, but I would do something smaller, like this. But there's no point because I have that clipper that would just clip that. So, I think I don't think I'm gonna keep this. I don't like manual stuff. I like automatic. Turn it on.